Tonight, police officers allegedly caught on camera. We've got the details coming up. Also, the Prime Minister says Rick Fox approached the PLP first for a seat. And later, should political leaders square off in debate? We've got reaction tonight. Eyewitness News starts now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Janae Noel. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping news tonight, allegations of police misconduct are putting the Royal Bahamas Police Force under intense scrutiny once again. The family says home security footage has raised some alarming questions about what really happened during a recent police operation. Our Lyndon Ritchie Jr. joining me live in studio with the details on this developing story. Linton?
Janaea, it was early this morning, allegedly, when police were at a home in Carmichael Road conducting a search when residents of the area say that they caught the unthinkable on camera. Take a look.
During me looking through the footage, I saw that an officer had placed said drugs in the area that they allegedly said it was found. Devastating. It's unacceptable.
The backyard of a family's Carmichael Road home now at the center of serious allegations after motion detection cameras appear to show a police officer planting what is believed to be illegal drugs during a search early Wednesday morning. 3 separate clips of home security footage released to Eyewitness News show multiple officers moving through the backyard with flashlights scanning the area. Moments later, 2 officers are seen near a shed and a pile of tires apparently talking. Then the video appears to show one officer dropping an item on the ground believed to be drugs before walking away. In the final clip, 2 brothers who live at the home are seen handcuffed as officers return to the very spot and picked up the same item. A family member who is currently vacationing abroad says he received a distressing call from his 60-year-old mother just after 2 a.m. He says she told him his 2 brothers had been taken into custody after police claimed to have found bags of alleged marijuana. Hours later, he says his mother, along with one of his brother's girlfriend, also ended up behind bars while visiting the Drug Enforcement Unit trying to get answers. But what he saw when he reviewed the home footage, he says, just doesn't add up.
I further went in to look at earlier footage prior to that, where it shows that different officers from the same unit had searched the exact area that they had said they had found these drugs that the other officer had rested down on the floor.
Eyewitness News asked the family whether a search warrant was presented, but they say they were given no confirmation. We also asked what may have led police to the home in the first place, but relatives insist they have, quote, no clue. With the family matriarch now in custody alongside her sons, another relative says he tried to reach senior members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force but got nowhere.
So I went across the complaint unit and I make a complaint, and I also showed them the video also. And all of them actually, I can see the challenge on their face.
The family says they are heartbroken but also determined, and they believe there's only one way to make this right.
I'm asking for those officers to get dismissed from the force right away, because the Commissioner of Police always say that she's there to clean up the dirty policemen, to clean up the force.
Now Eyewitness News reaching out to police on the matter. Deputy Commissioner of Police Kirkwood Andrews had this to say.
I can confirm that on Tuesday the 10th of February 2026 around 11:30 p.m. 4 persons were taken into police custody in the Carmichael Road area, reference to suspected dangerous drugs. The matter is under active investigation, and depending on the findings, that will direct the Royal Bahamas Police Force into what direction we would take. Once I'm updated, additional information will be provided.
Now, Janaea, of course, at this hour, it remains unconfirmed if all members of the family remain in custody. Police say they will continue their investigations, of course, into this matter. And it's a story we will continue to follow. But for now, I'm Lyndon Ritchie Jr. reporting live in studio, sending it back to you at the desk, Janaea.
Thanks so much, Arlington Ritchie Jr. joining us live tonight. In other news, a major resort project is moving ahead with government officials breaking ground on a significant expansion today. But alongside the economic promise, the Prime Minister delivering a pointed political message. He's reflecting on how a previous PLP government was handled. Our Jose Etienne now joining us live in studio with the details. Jose?
Janaea, just before Prime Minister Philip Davis talked about Bahamas' expansion, he used choice words to describe how he felt about the hotel's controversy that dominated headlines over a decade ago. It triggered a legal wrangling between the resort's initial developer and China Construction America, and some would argue that it left the then PLP government scrambling for damage control.
We'll be reminding each other of the journey and the story of this iconic site and the fake news that prevailed during the years 2016 and 17.
Davis could most likely be referring to when government was accused of being in bed with China Construction America, which reportedly led to Bahamas' initial developer, Sarkis Ismailian, being ousted. It sparked a standoff that stalled the project's construction and opening. The project eventually opened under the Minnis-led administration. It wasn't a failure, but it was a defining challenge that seemingly tainted former Prime Minister Perry Christie's tenure. Political pundits believe it also played a role in Christie's crushing defeat at the polls in 2017 as the project remained in limbo. But Davis sought to give the nation's former leader his flowers.
I looked over to my right and I saw the person who carried all the scars for that, the former Prime Minister Perry Christie. Good to see him. I'm glad that he's here to see that his vision and dream that started back in 2004.
While it was all smiles for the Prime Minister as he defended the Christie-Davis-led administration's handling of the Bahama project, opposition leader Michael Pintar took deep exception to what Davis had to say.
We're here celebrating another milestone in the development of Bahama. The Prime Minister, unfortunately, injected a controversy that courts have decided worked against his former administration. So I don't think he should have invoked the controversy and fake news.
Now, at this point, it could very well be water under the bridge. As we know, the higher courts in America ruled that Christie's government was complicit in its handling of the project while awarding Ismailian over $1 billion in damages. Back to you, Janelle.
Thanks so much, Jose Etienne, joining us live tonight. In other news, the political plot thickens tonight for former NBA star Rick Fox, just days after being ratified as the Free National Movement's candidate for Garden Hills. New information suggesting that the opposition party wasn't his only political option. Before making his decision, Fox left many wondering whether he would go at it alone as an independent or align with another party.
Rick Fox did reach out to me and thinking to be a PLP standard bearer in this election. And as within about 2 or 3 days, up to 2 or 3 days before he was nominated, he was seeking to get a nomination, seeking a nomination for either Kalani or Long Island.
What do you make of his move to now join the FNM? Last question.
I make nothing of it.
Meantime, disappointment from the opposition leader tonight after Dr. Hubert Minnis confirmed he will seek re-election as an independent candidate. The Free National Movement rules leave no room for debate. Any member who contests outside the party's banner is immediately cut loose. The decision effectively closes a chapter on a fractured relationship that has played out publicly since Minnis lost the party's leadership.
We are focused on a dynamic slate of candidates. It is regrettable that anyone would put in jeopardy their legacy by going in a direction that shows that when they are in charge, they are prepared to call everybody to make sure that all hands are on deck. But when they're not in charge, they're not prepared to support the very work that they contributed to building. And so what we're looking for is unity among those that served in the past and those that are stepping forward to serve in the upcoming election. Unfortunately, he's made an unwise decision, but it's his choice.
Eyewitness News turning to social media, posing the question tonight: do you think Minnis's independent run will hurt the Free National Movement's chances in the Killarney constituency? 93% of participants voting yes. It should also be mandatory. Meanwhile, some 22% voting no, and some 3% voting that they were unsure. Be sure to continue to participate in our daily digital polls, as your voice matters. Well, as the next general election inches closer, a growing number of Bahamians are asking whether national leadership debates should become a fixture of the country's process. Our Rebecca Bain has the details tonight.
Should national debates become a fixture of Bahamian elections? That's the question gaining momentum as some voters argue traditional campaigning such as rallies, motorcades, and door-to-door visits aren't enough to help them make informed choices. Many believe formal televised debates would allow candidates to be directly compared on issues, policies, and performance instead of personalities.
Because we'd get a perspective on the actual person running for the area, what they say they're going to do, as well as holding them accountable.
But not everyone is sold on the idea. Some skeptics say political debates could turn into political theater, heavy on talk, light on real solutions.
I just don't think so because I don't think they'll be listening to what the Bahamian people have to say anyhow.
Everything America does, we try to copy America. But I think we need to go back to basics.
National leadership debates are already standard practice in countries like the United States, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago. Research shows they can help voters better understand policies, hold elected officials accountable after elections, and force candidates to publicly address key national issues.
Healthcare, education, national insurance.
They need to focus on agriculture and education more.
Eyewitness News took the question to social media. Should national debates be a regular part of Bahamian elections? Reactions were mixed. One commenter argued the Bahamas may be too small to guarantee fairness, suggesting moderators or facilitators could have personal ties to participants, creating the risk of bias. Concerns were also raised about who would develop questions and how transparency would be ensured. But ORG Executive Director Matthew Aubrey disagrees, saying those challenges can be managed with the right structure.
Also have to account for the fact that the Bahamas is an archipelago that runs across 100,000 kilometers. All of those things have to be considered, but they don't determine citizens and prospective candidates to learn and talk and listen to each other. Media houses can have a role, but that it also can be community members that can put forward questions, but really look at what is a Bahamian solution to what could be a very Bahamian opportunity.
As the next general election approaches, the debate about debates continues. Is it time for the Bahamas to formally bring national leadership debates into its democratic process? Rebecca Bain, Eyewitness News.
Meantime, a 35-year-old man has been charged with murder in Grand Bahama following a fatal shooting last month. Steve Dorsey appeared without legal representation before Magistrate LaQuay Lang yesterday. Prosecutors alleging that on January 31st in Freeport, Dorsey intentionally caused the death of D'Angelo Wilson. Police reports indicate the shooting occurred shortly before 10 p.m. at the intersection of Adventures Way and East Atlantic Drive. Officers found an adult male suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. The victim transported to hospital, where he later died. The incident marking Grand Bahama's first murder of 2026. During the arraignment, Magistrate Lang informed Dorsey that murder is an indictable offense and he was not required to enter a plea at this stage. Bail has been denied. He was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services until April 28th of 2026. Meantime, a 35-year-old man accused of injuring two teen boys during an altercation at the A.F. Adelise High School. Last week, he's been granted bail. Prosecutors alleging that Jonathan Javis Roll Sr. caused physical harm to two teen boys at the school, including a 13-year-old. During the incident on February 3rd, Roll appeared before Assistant Chief Magistrate Cara Turnquest DeVoe and pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of causing harm. He's been granted $2,000 bail with 1 or 2 sureties and was warned not to interfere with any witnesses or complainants or risk having his bail revoked. He's scheduled to return to court for trial on March 19th. Inspector Kay Wilkinson prosecuted that matter. On to some other news tonight. PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell calling for the Free National Movement's candidate for Mount Moriah, Marvin Dames, to be axed by the party as he pointed to those Epstein files that names several Bahamian businessmen.
The saga of the Epstein files wants to reach into the Bahamas, and the Tribune reports that an F&M candidate is responsible for what is surely a libelous attack on 2 Bahamian businessmen. The F&M, in my view, should withdraw that candidate forthwith as not fit and proper.
Well, the National Security Minister, Wayne Monroe, is using the FNM's own vetting process to defend the PLP candidate for Fort Charlotte, Sebastian, who's also rejected claims of wrongdoings in those unsubstantiated FBI report.
Minister Marvin Dames followed me into this office. And so with regard to vetting of our ambassadors, that is something that someone like me would be concerned with. And so certainly he must have had comfort to not advance any objection to the appointment of Sebastian as an ambassador. If he felt there was anything that disqualified him, he had a duty as the Minister of National Security to come forward with it. Clearly he didn't, because Mr. Bastian was appointed ambassador under his administration. So I like to think the best of people. I would like to think that Minister Marvin Dames carried out his duty as Minister of National Security, which would indicate to me that there is no substance to any sensible complaint against Mr. Sebastian, or else he would have brought it forward. I could always be wrong, and Minister Dames might have been a horrible Minister of National Security who didn't do his job. But I think on something as simple as that, he would have done his job.
Meantime, PLP Chair Fred Mitchell, he's mincing no words as he took aim at the former Health Minister, Dr. Dwayne Sands, who says government's plan to build a new hospital is, quote, a dumb idea. In a scathing statement released hours before news time, Mitchell argued that the only dumb thing about building of a new hospital is your opposition to it, end quote. Mitchell further argued that the hospital is bursting at the seams while accusing the minister of doing nothing to improve health care, calling Sands a failed minister. It comes as the hospital's construction continues to dominate the political discourse, with detractors being accused of using the issue as a political football. For a full read-up, log on to our website, ewnews.com. Well, polls have officially closed across Barbados, bringing voting in the country's general election to an end at 6 p.m. today. While 6 political parties and 96 independent candidates are contesting the 30 seats in Parliament, political observers say the race is widely seen as a head-to-head battle between the island's two oldest political movements, the governing Barbados Labour Party and the main opposition Democratic Labour Party. Now, Wednesday's snap election was called by their Prime Minister, Mia Mottley, a year ahead of schedule as she seeks a third consecutive term in office. More details on our social media pages. Meantime, shovels were dug into the ground earlier today on the former Malia property as Bahamas executives pump over $700 million to construct a beachfront high-end property. Prime Minister Philip Davis, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, and other senior government and opposition officials lauded the expansion as the major resort plays a major role in shattering tourism records. For officials, another key takeaway from this expansion is the creation of jobs that will be immediately available for Bahamians once construction begins tomorrow.
The resort will reflect timeless design, thoughtful oceanfront living, and seamless indoor-outdoor experiences that celebrate the natural beauty and this breathtaking location in the Bahamas. The residences will offer a truly unique opportunity, allowing owners to live within the Bahamas ecosystem while enjoying the privacy, exclusivity, and lifestyle of a beachfront home. The resort itself will deliver world-class amenities, including a 16,000 square foot spa and fitness center designed to provide transformative wellness experiences. Guests and residents will enjoy 4 signature dining venues, including a new beachfront specialty restaurant that will be featuring the freshest seafood caught by our local fishermen. The property will also feature more than 35,000 square feet of indoor and outdoor meeting and event space, including a grand ballroom, a junior ballroom designed to host local celebrations and meetings, alongside international conferences and global gatherings here in the Bahamas.
Well, Bahamas President Graham Davis, as you heard, he gave some insight on some of the developments and the amenities that he says will set that property apart.
During construction alone, this development is expected to support over 1,000 jobs. The majority of those jobs will be filled by Bahamians, skilled tradesmen, electricians, carpenters, engineers, heavy-duty equipment operators, project managers, suppliers, drivers, small contractors. And when this new resort opens its doors, approximately 1,400 associates will have find opportunity right here. From hotel operations and culinary arts to wellness, events, guest services, technology, and management roles.
The partnership between Bahama and the Bahamas has been quite simply a match made in heaven. Bahama built more than rooms and restaurants. It helped elevate the brand of the Bahamas as a premier destination. It strengthened our tourism product, created opportunities for Bahamians, and reinforced the message that the Bahamas is building for the future.
Well, if you've got a news tip or if you've seen news in the making, call the Ion News hotline 397-6397. We also invite you to send your letters to the editor for publication on all of our social media platforms, Eyewitness News Bahamas at gmail.com. And if you're watching on our Facebook or YouTube page, share your thoughts about today's stories in the comment section. We want to hear from you. We're just getting started in Eyewitness News tonight, but when we come back, attorneys are raising some concerns about the elderly being taken advantage of. We'll tell you how coming up. And later tonight, it's an annual retreat for young boys around the country hosted by the Governor General. We've got the details on that right after this break.
Vibes is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the vibes back. At BTC, we understand your vibes because we live it. That's why we are dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You are at the heart of everything we do. Our commitment is to keep your vibes flowing, no matter what.
Forget them flower, forget them check. You know it's Tommy, get the respect. AP is hot, we sitting close. Breeze on your lip, that's how I know. You is my person, that ain't no secret. You sharing, I might keep it. Love buckets.
8 tasty pieces of chicken, thighs and legs for just $20. Add a large side for $5. This February, love deserves a bucket. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Bahamian ownership in fly fishing is very important. Not only does it create opportunities for Bahamians, this is our industry, so we're proud of what we do. Opportunity is important. It's the story of my life, because with the opportunities, you can chart your own course. Prime Minister Davis and his team see the opportunities by providing these grants and what it can do for our country. It's just wonderful, and I'm glad to see these ventures working so that other people can get involved. This is real. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's help ourselves.
Life moves fast, and the best moments happen when you get more from every connection.
Boy, life comes your way. Appreciate it.
When your world is connected, more convenience comes naturally, so you can keep moving with more freedom and less interruption. From real-time updates to everyday essentials, you stay more in sync with life. Because when time matters, more reliability keeps you one step ahead.
Get your Eyewitness News gas tracker. You're getting the cheapest tonight at Shell, $5.10. Esso coming in at $5.11. Rubis, $5.12. Your local prices at the pump. Welcome back. Well, with no official election date yet announced, the executive director of the Organization for Responsible Governance, Matt Albury, is urging Bahamians to utilize voter education resources that can assist them ahead of the general election, stressing that every vote counts and is encouraging citizens to be wise in their choices.
Absolutely. So we've launched something called Pathway to the Polls, and this is our voter education project. It's free to anybody that wants to use it, but we've developed with a volunteer and independent group of Bahamian youth a toolkit and a handbook and resources that help people to understand not only how to get registered, but how to use your vote appropriately. We want to encourage people to come out to not only get registered, to plan to vote, to make sure they know where their polling systems are, but also think about what they want to do with their vote and who they want to support in a way that they believe will represent their interests. Not just because they have a great personality, not just because they're associated with a party that your family might have been with historically, but because they understand the issues that you and your constituency are struggling with, and they have plans and ideas on how to address those that are realistic and believable to you.
Well, on to some other news. It's what every Bahamian should know about conveying land, especially seniors. Legal voices are raising concern about elderly persons being taken advantage of in property transfers. Our Laurencia Smith speaks with an attorney tonight on some critical steps families should take.
Johnny Ann Ramming Dorset of Island Legal says she's seeing a growing number of cases involving elderly persons being taken advantage of through land conveyance, and she admits the trend is deeply troubling. Eyewitness News first reported on the alarming pattern after Housing Minister Keith Bell revealed that so far this year, he has encountered at least 5 cases where elderly individuals were left homeless after signing over property to family members while still alive. Ramming Dorset warns that once property is signed over, it can be extremely difficult and sometimes impossible to get it back.
Unless you've been somehow coerced or you are not quite in your right mind, and that can be proven. And that is difficult to prove sometimes.
She says while many parents may want to give property to their children, following the proper legal process is critical to protecting everyone involved.
What to do is not convey it outright to a child or any other person, but they can convey it as joint tenants, which means that no one person, they have equal rights, so one cannot put out the other.
The attorney is urging residents to get independent legal advice before signing any documents related to land or property.
In front of you, if it looks like any contract, anything that affects your assets, anything you own that affects your well-being, I would advise you to see a lawyer. Don't sign it on your own, because even if on the surface it looks okay, as a lay person you may not see the little things underneath that could compromise you.
Ramming Dorset also stressed the importance of having a properly drafted will in place, whether a person is ill or in good health. She says once you begin to acquire assets, you should also have a will to ensure your wishes are clearly carried out.
You want to decide while you have all your faculties who you want to inherit what you've gained in this life once you've passed on. Now, the Inheritance Act takes care of that if you somehow neglected to make a will, but you may not want the terms of the Inheritance Act.
Under the Bahamian Inheritance Act, a surviving spouse generally receives a significant share of an estate, often half if there are children, or the entire estate if there are none, with the remaining going to children, grandchildren, or other relatives. Laurencia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Rehabilitation and second chances, they're taking center stage at the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services as officials highlight the impact of faith-based programming behind the prison walls. Corporal Angelo Roll is crediting the department's chaplaincy unit for what he describes as meaningful transformation among inmates, noting that through structured programs and targeted initiatives, many individuals are being guided toward positive change after finding themselves on the wrong side of the law. Rose says those efforts are not only reshaping lives within the facility, but are also helping to prepare inmates for reintegration into society.
They were rowdy, they were argumentative, they had behavioral pattern issues, but through the chaplaincy programs and the other programs that the institution provides, their behavioral pattern persons, I'm talking.
Roll is also revealing that BDOC's residents who are not willing to initially participate in the faith-based programs have since seen the positive outcomes and have had a change of heart.
I'm talking persons who would have had life in prison, 20 years incarceration. They, at the end of the day, they would have left here a good citizen.
The Bahamas Department of Correctional Services is also putting a spotlight on redemption and rehabilitation with the launch of its second biannual Chaplains, Volunteers, and Caregivers Conference is set to run from March 12th to 16th at the Faith United Church Auditorium. The conference carries the theme From Chains to Change, the Power of Redemptive Care. The Corrections Chaplain and Conference host, Reverend Dr. William Thompson, says the faith-based gathering is critical in equipping chaplains, volunteers, and caregivers with the tools to provide meaningful support to those behind bars.
Correction must go beyond punishment and containment to restoration and purpose. Chains are not only physical, they are spiritual, emotional, and generational. Redemptive care is the divine key that unlocks the door from incarceration to transformation. When we invest in the souls, we change the story. As chaplain, I affirm that this conference is not merely an event, but a call to action. It recognizes that every individual, whether resident or officer, carries value, potential, and capacity for change. Through faith-based intervention, counseling, mentorship, and compassionate service.
Meantime, officers attached to the chaplaincy department noting that the conference will also serve as an accreditation form for churches and volunteers as they are partnering with Global Chaplains Alliance. Officials say early registration will end on February 25th for $100 per person, and after that, the tickets will be $130.
This conference will now give you the umbrella, will give you the organization coverage to be able to go into the prison systems wherever there is a Global Chaplaincy Alliance, and you will be able to link forces with them and speak to them and encourage somebody who may be incarcerated overseas in the United States or in Jamaica.
One may ask, why attend this chaplaincy conference? Well, for many, this is an opportunity for you to train, network, and also equip yourselves with the best practices currently in chaplaincy. For those persons who are presently in the field of chaplaincy, this gives you an opportunity to enhance your skills. And for those persons who may be new to the field of chaplaincy in the prison, this is a very specialized area. This gives you an opportunity to be informed, to be knowledgeable.
Meantime, nearly 200 young men from across the Bahamas will gather next week at the Miles E. Monroe Diplomat Center for the second annual Governor General's Boys Retreat and Conference, spearheaded by Her Excellency Cynthia Pratt, held under the theme, Moving Forward. The retreat will feature workshops, guest speakers, and group discussions focused on resilience, emotional intelligence, and healthy coping strategies. Secretary to the Governor General and Retreat Co-Chair Jack Thompson says the program continues to grow in impact and participation with plans to expand its reach in the near future.
Anticipating, even before it happens, the transformation and the change in our young men. The results we received from last year's conference is just unbelievable. We have gotten feedback from parents, from teachers, from community leaders that the impact of last year's conference. In fact, let me say this. Some of the participants from last year want to come back this year. Just can't be a one-stop thing. You have to continue, particularly if you hear the boys crying out to say, I won't come back. I want a part 2 or part 3. There's got to be that. You can't just say, we finished with you, no more. So we are going to look at that.
Well, retreat officials say the program targets young men at risk, including those who are victims of bullying, involved in alleged gang activity, and growing up without parental guidance. They hope the participants will carry the lessons learned during the retreat with them as they navigate life.
I have a lot of wealth of experience who will be able to pour into these young men. My biggest anticipation right now is the spiritual enrichment session, because I know we want these kids to be guided by God's principles, and just about everybody around this table, they have that.
What I am personally hoping for is that these young men would actually latch on to the committee members that we have here, the NGOs that are represented across the board here, and actually have some type of relationship where they foster something positive and they actually carry it back home, and we have that positivity spread throughout the community rather than having the young men continue to deal with that anger and emotion that what Ms. Raming would have indicated earlier.
Well, still to come in Eyewitness News tonight, it's our weekly business feature. We're in the boardroom. Find out who we're featuring. We've got the details, but first, a check on tonight's weather forecast.
The ride on the weekend with my grandma to this place, Burger King Nassau, where grandma enjoyed her favorite
Welcome back. Well, in our business feature tonight, BTC is making some inroads in technology and speed. Natario McKinsey has the details tonight.
As demand for high-speed data, streaming, and cloud services continue to accelerate, telecoms operators are under pressure to expand capacity and improve reliability. This week on Inside the Boardroom, I sat down with BTC CEO Samir Bhatti to discuss how the company is responding to shifting consumer behavior, modernizing its network, and positioning itself for the next wave of digital growth.
We've seen it since COVID. Certainly COVID was an accelerator. The rapid migration from, let's say, voice services to data and to broadband and then to even more speed. We're seeing consumers have more devices per home. Their homes are fully dependent.
But delivering consistent service across an archipelago of more than 700 islands and keys presents unique logistical and financial challenges, particularly in remote communities with small populations.
Whether it's 4G LTE, whether it's fixed services on fiber, the challenges I see, we're an archipelago. And the ability to ensure reliable services, you have to have speed, you have to be fast, whether fixed or mobile. But to make them reliable is key.
Bhatti says BTC's core business strategy is built around 3 pillars: network reliability, service availability, and customer experience, areas he describes as essential to maintaining competitive advantage.
The notion of reliability, that notion of responsiveness is really driving us, keeping the customer at the center, understanding what their needs are and meeting them as best as we can, meeting their expectations. So that to me is the difference. They want a reliable service provider. They want to know that the service provider is there.
A major part of the strategy is the company's continued rollout of fiber to the home, a multi-year capital investment program aimed at boosting speed, reducing downtime, and future-proofing the network.
We're the forerunner in fiber here in the Bahamas, and 100% of Grand Bahama is fiberized. We've made that announcement. We're over 90% fiber in New Providence, and we're going to get to 100 soon. That is our flagship network product to the home, for the residential community. And we're really proud of that progress. And we continue to invest in reliability of that network and adding more speeds. We're very happy with that product.
And when it comes to the Family Islands, Bhatti says BTC is bringing solutions to close the digital divide and ensure equitable access to modern communications.
We leverage the technology that makes sense for that community, for that island. Let's start there. We have fiber in New Providence and Grand Bahama. We've launched a product called BTC Air, and we've launched it in Bimini. We're rolling it in Eleuthera right now. We're going to take it to 5 islands here in 2026. And what that is it brings technology equity to the Family Islands. You will get that triple play. You will get that 150, 200 megabits per second downstream. You will get ZNS, you'll get TV, you'll get voice.
Beyond consumer services, BTC is also positioning itself as a key partner in national digital development, working with government on public Wi-Fi initiatives, CCTV networks, and data center capabilities. Under its corporate theme, Lead with Innovation, Bhatti says the focus this year is on operational efficiency, service improvement, and new revenue opportunities.
Innovation isn't limited in our organization to my chair. I don't expect it to be. I demand my entire senior leadership team, and I demand that their team leads bring that innovation forward, because those are where the ideas come from. And we're seeing it every day in this organization.
With data consumption rising and new technologies reshaping how Bahamians live and work, BTC says its priority remains clear: sustained investment in infrastructure, human capital, and innovation to support a more connected digital economy. Natario McKinsey, Eyewitness News.
My name is Mariah Lambert, and I'm a handover specialist here at EV Motors. I've owned the company since July of 2025. I certainly love interacting with our customers, sharing their excitement, and ensuring that they receive top-tier customer service that not only represents me, but the entire EV brand. What I think our customers love most about our brand is whether they're treating themselves or a loved one or even freshening up their business fleet, they can do so without breaking the bank. We have the largest SUV selection on the island. This past Christmas, we engaged with our customers by doing 12 days of Drivemas, where we drove around with our Hunk and Win vehicle, and once they spotted us, they were able to receive a gas voucher or BPL voucher from us. We have options for everyone. Whether you're purchasing personally or commercially, we have gas, hybrid, and fully electric options.
Happy Love Week still to come in Eyewitness News tonight. Our Laurencia Smith has a check on sports right after this break.
In the spirit of Thanksgiving, the administrators, teachers, and students of Palmdale Primary School welcomed Education Minister, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, and other education officials to their school with a special assembly themed Transforming Teaching and Learning, a Journey of Growth and Excellence. Minister Hannah Martin and Director Dominique McCartney-Russell thanked the administrators and educators while applauding the school's accomplishments.
71% of the student population reading at or above grade level. This is outstanding what is happening here at Palmdale Primary. This is one of the oldest schools, primary schools in the country. Because I know the Prime Minister, Philip Davis, told me his classroom was down there. And he got some years on him.
80 initiatives led by some 20 team leaders to ensure that we maximize the opportunities for our children. We have seen some of the best Black results in 10 years. And so to see the results here at Palmdale, especially first in the district in writing, Minister, grade 6 writing, does my heart so good. Because you can tell that our teachers are working diligently to ensure that our children are receiving the best quality education.
Jonalee McIntosh for Ed Talk.
Introducing the Easy Renew portal, brought to you by the National Insurance Board. Renewing your national insurance card has never been easier.
I can renew our cards right from the comfort of our home.
And it's so convenient.
Wow.
Whether you're at work or studying hard at the library, even when you're on the go or enjoying retirement.
This is so easy.
Day or night, the Easy Renew portal is there for you. Easy Renew portal. Convenience at your fingertips.
Eyewitness Sports is brought to you by 103.5 The Beat.
Welcome to another edition of Eyewitness Sports. I'm Laurencia Smith. Thanks for joining us. Kicking things off in sports tonight from the basketball court, it's a win or go home matchup in the BAISS championships. Both the senior boys and girls divisions are on the line as the Kingsway Academy Saints face off against the St. John's College Giants in a decisive matchup in the senior girls action. And over in game 3, for the senior boys, it's between the Charles W. Saunders Cougars and the St. John's Giants, who will decide the championship. Both the senior boys and senior girls divisions are on the line as the Kingsway Academy Saints face off against the St. John's Giants in a decisive matchup in the senior girls action. And over in game 3, for the boys, it's a matchup between the Charles W. Saunders Cougars and the St. John's Giants as they determine who will be the champions. We'll definitely stay tuned to Eyewitness Sports for the latest highlights from that matchup. Also, GSSSA Finals Best of 3 series are underway. It was a fair showdown between the Rattlers senior boys and the Pacers, but Game 1 ended in controversy. It was late in the third quarter when tempers flared on the court. An altercation broke out between C.I. Gibson and R.M. Bailey, resulting in 2 players being ejected. What began as a battle for possession quickly escalated, with several players getting involved. There were reports of players shoving one another. At one point, referees had to step in to restore order. Eyewitness News reached out to the GSSSA President Van Dyke Bethel, who told us he has no comment at this time. Despite the chaos, the Rattlers pulled out a 72-66 win. Here's more from their head coach, Kevin K.J. Johnson.
We came out kind of flat, sluggish. Hats off to Ron Bailey. They came out and really competed. Very good team, well-coached team. But I knew that our boys had the fight in them to pull it out.
Over on the senior girls side, the C.I. Gibson Lady Rattlers secured a 50-43 victory for a 1-0 series lead. The Royals junior boys dominated the H.O. Nash Lions 60-26, while the junior girls followed with a 43-26 win over the Lions. The series will continue on Thursday over at the gym. And finally, in sports, we're hanging over in Mingo Nation with the University of the Bahamas. The University of the Bahamas men's soccer team is in high gear as they prepare to host the California Intercontinental University out of California this week over at the Roscoe Davies pitch. The Mingos will face the visiting side on Thursday and Friday at 10 a.m., marking the first time meeting between the two programs. It also represents the first time the Mingos will take on an international opponent not based in the southern region. The team say it's excited and ready for competition.
Facing competition that we've never seen before. This is going to be a team from California. California is one of the strongest states in terms of football. So it'll be a good test to measure their growth. Comparing them to how they performed in Florida in the fall, but also B, how they've grown as a unit in the past few months playing local competition.
The squad and the boys are really looking forward to it. As a captain, I want to keep the team in high spirits, and that's what we are right now. We have a test game, like a friendly game on Sunday, to see how we're going to set up for this game coming up. But CIU looks like a great opponent, and it should be a very interesting game.
It's really good, to be honest, because not a lot of people get this opportunity. So I think it's a great opportunity to show why we should be here, or like I should be here, to help the team win games and do what we got to do.
Well, that's a quick look at sports at this hour. I'm Laurencia Smith. Stay tuned for more news on the other side of the break.
Okay, guys.
taste the difference.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Top News is Wednesday, coming up and Beyond the Headlines with Shanique Miller. A look at all of today's top stories that's coming up and Beyond the Headlines. It starts right after this. That does it for us here at Eyewitness News. It's certainly been a pleasure having you in our company tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Janae Nawal saying good night and be safe, everyone.
Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Straight ahead this evening, the Free National Movement leadership strong in their opposition of former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis announcing his independent candidacy. The FNM says Minnis potentially will end his career on a low note. The question tonight, though, is the FNM overreaching after they denied Minnis a nomination? We talk about it tonight. Tonight, PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell calling for the FNM to retract its nomination to Mount Moriah candidate Marvin Dames. We'll tell you what's behind the bold request. And later tonight, temperature check is back. We now have 41 constituencies to get through. You all know the drill. We talk about the constituencies, the candidates, and exactly what they bring to the table and the promise they have for each constituency. We've already gotten through 6 of those. Tonight, a review before we move forward. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Why would a former prime minister choose to end his career in open conflict with his party? A blunt question from former tourism minister Dionisio D'Aguilar on Dr. Minnis's announcement here on this show Monday evening. Why would Minnis's running as an independent be an issue for the FNM? Well, I'll tell you this. We're going to get right into that this evening. We're going to begin with former tourism minister and former member of parliament for Freetown, Dionisio D'Aguilar. Good evening to you, sir. It's great to have you here. Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines.
Shanique, it's always wonderful to be in your company.
It's good to have you here. Listen, the FNM and its leadership really not mincing words in today, saying that what is Dr. Minnis trying to prove? What's really happening? Why would he, one, put his legacy, his career, his reputation so far, and being an incumbent 4 times over, on the line by going in to run as an independent? Then why would he stand up in this way against the very organization who gave him these major wings that he now enjoys, former Prime Minister and stellar member of Parliament? Why is the FNM so bothered?
Well, it's not that we're bothered. I mean, we've already moved on. We've already selected our candidate and moved on. But we do feel, as a former Prime Minister, as a former leader of the Free National Movement, it's incredibly disappointing that he would decide to go against the will of the party and run as an independent candidate. He has been a former Prime Minister. He has held the highest office he can possibly have. And now what does he want? He wants to be a member of Parliament, to sit on the backbench, and do what? Deal with mundane, routine matters as a parliamentarian? He's served in the highest office. He has done anything anyone can possibly do in the Free National Movement. He's 73 years old. He has served. It is time for him to do the honorable thing. He lost the leadership of the Free National Movement decisively. He got 25% of the vote. Michael Pintard got 75% of the vote. And it seems as if he can't accept that. It's time for him to move on.
So you think that his running and the announcement that he's going to be an independent candidate has to do with him still trying to prove a point to Pintard?
I don't know. I just don't understand it. I really don't understand. And I want to make this point very, very clear. The Free National Movement did every possible thing it could to include Dr. Minnis in the Free National Movement. Invited him to caucus meetings. Invited him to participate in the opposition, in the House, in the House in opposition. They really tried for him to participate, invited him to meetings.
Are you sure? Because we heard just the opposite, and nobody came to say, hey, this is not true, and the media is somehow telling lies. on the FNM and its leadership. For example, last year, or perhaps even the year before that, when Minnis reportedly was attempting to go speak at various constituency meetings where he was invited, reportedly, he was denied the opportunity. We have been told and was reported by the leadership, who said, listen, no, he has no more voice in this party, go have a seat.
We already had a leadership battle. Michael Pintard is the leader of the Free National Movement. It was a decisive victory. 75% of the people who voted for Michael Pintard. He is the new leader. I mean, it's difficult for the former leader to maybe accept the new leader, but we have a new leader. We have a new vision. We have a new direction. And it's up to him, if he wants to stay involved, to come to caucus meetings, to go along with the party leadership, as we all did when he was leader. We all afforded him that request. And may I remind you, those that did not were expelled, were done away with. For example, I ran in Montague that became Freetown. There was a sitting member up there, Richard Lightboard. I never forget going in and meeting with Dr. Minnis. I said, where are you going to put me? He said, I'm going to put you in Montague. And I said, why are you going to put me in Montague? There's already a sitting member there. He said, no, he's gone. So he knows exactly how this works. He's a former leader. There's a new leader. Please come to the meetings, participate. I am 100% sure that he would have been nominated as the candidate for Kalani had he just agreed to participate.
If he was a team player.
If he was a team player, come, meet, accept the fact that Michael Pintard is the leader. I mean, you may not like it because you were the leader, but accept what the party has decided, get involved, and you know, I want to dispel this belief that the FNM was stink to Dr. Minnis. That is certainly not the case.
The FNM was not stink to Dr. Minnis?
No. We reached out to him and tried. Okay, I'll admit this. Maybe coming out of the leadership battle, it was a bit bumpy. Okay, there's some hard feelings there. So maybe that period after that. But once we got over that, once we got on to, okay, let's think about nominating candidates, come, be a team player. Are you going to help the Pintard administration if they're victorious? No interest, none whatsoever. Every time you try to make up a meeting with him, he's not available, he's not coming, it's all the rest of it. I mean, at some stage, you know, I always say, if you have a boyfriend, right? Or you have a husband or a boyfriend, let's say boyfriend, and you being nice to them, and they keep spurning you, and they ain't showing up, and they ain't showing you no love. What you do with them?
Not interested.
You get rid of them.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, that's the way it ended, and it's very, very unfortunate. I mean, I worked with Dr. Minnis.
Yes.
I loved working with him. He was a wonderful boss to me. I mean, I cannot say anything bad about him as my boss. As the Minister of Tourism serving in his cabinet, he was great. But you know, sometimes you have to see the writing on the wall. And his time
and I didn't even ask him this question on Monday. It was strictly about his, just truly him, his footprint in Kalani, his footprints leading up to the announcement he made. But what in his mind, if he's saying, listen, I am not standing in the FNM's, in this leadership and this FNM's way, I'm not standing in their way. I have stepped out of their way and said I'm running independent. Why would this matter to them? Why is it that in the Bahamas we feel, you mentioned he's 73, if a 80-year-old in the Bahamas wants to continue being active and making a contribution at the constituency level, why we feel as though that person should not do that?
There are many ways you can serve the Free National Movement. Many ways. You can take the highest office, you can serve in the Senate, you can serve on boards, you can serve in many programs that the Free National Movement have, as people are finding, right? So, you know, I just think that his time is, and the fact that he's a former leader of the Free National Movement is important. I mean, it is impactful. And the fact that he's deciding not to participate in the Free National Movement, to step out but still run, and then he's going to be expelled from the party because if he nominates in Kalani, where we have a ratified candidate, the Constitution of the Free National Movement says he is instantly expelled. I mean, come on. You were the leader of the Free National Movement. You were an FNM Prime Minister. Do you really want to end your career this way? And all you had to do, I mean, for the life of me, I can't understand why he didn't do it. All he had to do was to participate, to get involved, to show some love towards Michael Pintard and his team, to be engaged. And he didn't. And so when you're spurned, the decisions ended where they ended.
Did you have an opportunity to one-on-one say this with him, or on the phone, anything that listen, Dr. Minnis, let's talk for a moment. This is Dionisio to Hubert. Let's talk about this.
I told Dr. Minnis that philosophically, my position, this is my personal opinion, that when you get into your 70s, there's a time for you to retire. And that's my personal belief. That's not the belief of anybody else. That's my personal belief. I don't think anybody at that age should be running. That's my personal belief.
What about elsewhere? We see men and women well into their 80s active in the front line of politics.
I fundamentally believe that there are you got to make room for younger, more energetic people to take the position. That's just my view. I mean, people may not agree with that view, and obviously Dr. Minnis doesn't, and clearly Donald Trump doesn't, and there are people around the world that don't agree with this. But it's my view, if you've done as many years as, say, Dr. Minnis has done, there's a time to say, okay, let me pass it on to a younger generation. Let me allow them to have your chance. I mean, in most businesses, in most companies, you're forced to retire at 65. Why don't we have that in politics? Certain countries have
politics is exempt. So I'd like to, and everywhere in the world it seems.
No, that's not true.
Well, certainly
if you go, I only know this because my wife is from the Netherlands, but they have a mandatory retirement age for politicians.
Well, not in this part of the world, not in the US and stuff. But listen, so Dionisio, question. How much support realistically do you think Dr. Minnis will get in Killarney outside of the F&M machinery?
Well, this is people try to change this, but this is a two-party state. There's the PLP and there's the F&M. And history has shown us.
Remember, independents have been elected before.
But generally, they get elected when one party decides not to run. So we all remember Tennyson Wells. He won that seat as an independent because the PLP decided not to run against him. And so as a result, I think, sadly for him, he's going to get a nominal amount of votes, and he certainly isn't going to win.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I don't.
Do you think his presence in Killarney could split the vote for between him and the F&M's candidate?
I don't think so. I think that the Killarney is a hard F&M constituency, has always leaned very significantly towards the Free National Movement, and I think the Free National Movement will prevail quite decisively in that constituency. So this is people forget that Hubert Minnis wasn't successful because he was Hubert Minnis. He was successful because he was the leader of the F&M. I was successful in Freetown because I was the F&M's candidate. That is why you are successful, because you're affiliated with one of the major parties, PLP or F&M. And many third parties, the DNA, the CDR, the COI, will attempt and will get no traction. I am of the view the COI will get no seats because we are a two-party state. It'll either be the PLP or the F&M. That will prevail in every constituency. Remember, our system is the party or the person that gets the most votes. Mm-hmm. And there are 35% of the population PLP. You could send your cat down there and I vote in PLP. Mm-hmm. Or I could send my dog down and I vote in F&M. Mm-hmm. Whoever it is, I'm a party person. And so it's just very hard to overcome that. And so as a result, he will not prevail. He will be unsuccessful.
Wow, you called
and it'll be a sad finish to a stellar career.
You called it here tonight. You, Dionisio de Aguilar, and I saw Peter Turnquest as well in an article in the top story in the Tribune. And then, of course, we saw F&M leader Michael Pintard in the news tonight. You all saw that, saying that, listen, Dr. Minnis, stop your distraction, step down. But tonight you went further. You said he will not even prevail.
He will not prevail. I mean, there's no doubt. Never, if every party is fielding a candidate, the FNF has Michael Abana Ellis, the PLP have their candidate, the COI have their candidate. There's no way he's going to prevail because of this, 30 to 40% of the people in the country are F&M, and they hard F&M, and 30 to 40% of the country is PLP, they hard PLP. No matter who you send, they voting for them. Mm-hmm. And I think, I think that percentage is coming down over time, maybe 35% now. But I think it's just impossible for an independent candidate with both parties fielding a candidate. It's difficult for him to overcome that institutional support.
If he's unsuccessful, would you reach out and try and really then try and help and lift his spirits? Because after he's been a great MP and people speak highly of him in Killarney, and he wants to continue with that.
I love Dr. Minnis. I love him.
That's your MP, right?
Yeah, he's my MP. Yeah. I love him. I just disagree with him on this particular decision of his. Mm-hmm. And he once said a very interesting thing to me, and it's never left my memory. And he said to me, most politicians in this country die poor and lonely. Okay? He ain't gonna die poor. But I'm gonna make sure, certainly after this election, I'm gonna reach out to him, because worst thing you could ever do is die lonely. And when you spurn everybody, nobody's gonna reach out to you. But I think, notwithstanding his decision now, and notwithstanding his decision to run, and I hope at the last minute he changes his mind. I really do. I really do. Because it would be a pity for him to be expelled from the Free National Movement. Given the fact that he's a former prime minister, a former leader of the party, that would be a devastating pity. So I'm hoping that he changes his mind at the last minute and says, you know what, I've seen the light, and I'm just going to stay this one out and let the younger people sort it out amongst themselves, and I will.
We detest the thought of someone like you moving on the side for the younger people. I think that you should be there to continue on and let. Yeah,
you can. That's what I was going to say. He can assume an elder statesman role.
Yes.
We always reach out to former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham. Guide us. What do you think? What are your thoughts? We reach out to all a lot.
But y'all weren't doing that to Dr. Minnis. Let's be fair. The FNM did, okay, by all appearances.
Well, I think when after the 2021 general election, and then we had a leadership battle, and Michael Pintard prevailed the first time, and then a couple of years later another leadership battle broke out, and Michael Pintard again prevailed very decisively. That was the time for the mature elder statesman to reach out, shake your hand, well done, welcome aboard, good luck. How can I help you? And how can I assist you in achieving the most important thing, which is victory for the Free National Movement in the next general election? That's what he should have done. That's what an elder statesman does. That's what a former prime minister does. And accept the fact that, my time has come. I've achieved the pinnacle of my career. I've been the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That's a very, very, very select club. But now that has moved on. And I am here to help you and assist you and help the party that helped me to achieve that position.
A little bit later after the break, we're going to talk about Fred Mitchell. I want to ask you this question. Fred Mitchell is saying to the FNM, listen, FNM, hi, for your sake and what's good for you moving forward, get rid of Marvin Dames off your ticket. Your thoughts?
Tell Fred Mitchell stay focused on the PLP, okay? This is not the time for him to stay focused on the FNM. I know that's his job, but no one listens to Fred Mitchell anymore. He's become completely irrelevant.
Whoa, tell you, irrelevant, he says. Dionisio, listen, I've invited you back before when you were here before because you've got fire in you. And that is not, no pun intended. But yeah, no, you could come and give some good analysis.
Tell him to stay focused on Dr. Fox, okay? That's what he needs to do. Stay right up there. Go to Foxtel and stay focused on Dr. Fox because I think he's giving him a run for his money.
Listen to me. What about Rick Fox? Prime Minister Davis said Rick Fox was trying to knock on the PLP's door. The PLP say, hold up, back up. And this just a minute before he was nominated by the FNM or ratified. What does the FNM say about that?
We welcome Rick Fox into our party, and he will prevail in Garden Hills. So,
Dionisio, you're the best. You're the best. Dionisio de Aguilar, a senior statesman in the Free National Movement. Of course, a prominent businessman here, but in this instance, one of the leadership, among the leadership of the Free National Movement. Thank you, sir, for being here this evening and speaking on what has become a major story, major discussion in many quarters, even online. The leadership of the FNM saying, Dr. Minnis, what's up, man? You're stepping out of turn again.
Come on.
Come home. I can ask Doc if he coming home, because that's what I can ask him. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
You so much, Shanique. It's always fun to be on your show.
It's fun to have you, always. This is Beyond the Headlines. When we come back, you heard me ask him the question. PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell say, hold up, Michael Pintard, Dionisio de Aguilar, get rid of Marvin Dames. We'll tell you why he's saying that after the break.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash. And you know how Superwash always have the latest and greatest model of washer and dryer? Well, they thought it's about time they get the latest supermodel as well.
Hey, wait a minute, Mr. Charlie Banana. Just because Superwash always changing and upgrading their machines, I mean they gotta change those spokesmen. They got the newest washer and dryer, and they always upgrading all their locations. And these two models, Ain't got change. Superwash, they wash you, cleans you, process you 24/7.
Are you self-employed or have a small business that's looking for a faster, easier way to submit your C10 statements and pay NIB contributions? Sign up for the NIB C10 Easy Submit and Pay mobile app today. It's quick, secure, and takes just 5 simple steps. You will need a completed R1 business registration form and 2 forms of ID, a passport, voter's card, NIB card, or driver's license. Choose your role and enter your info, NI number, employer's NI number, name, and date of birth. Hit next. Enter your email, check your inbox for the code, then type it in to verify. Upload the R1 form and your 2 forms of ID and tap submit. Track your application anytime by tapping check status. Once approved, you'll get your confirmation and PIN by email within 24 to 72 hours. Return to the app, tap register now, set your login details and enter your final code. That's it. You're now ready to manage your NIB contributions anytime, anywhere. Self-employed persons, small business owners. Skip the line, save time. Download the NIB C10 Easy Submit and Pay mobile app today. Introducing the Easy Renew portal, brought to you by the National Insurance Board. Renewing your national insurance card has never been easier.
I can renew our cards right from the comfort of our home.
And it's so convenient.
Wow.
Whether you're at work or studying hard at the library, even when you're on the go or enjoying retirement.
This is so easy.
Day or night, the Easy Renew portal is there for you. Easy Renew portal. Convenience at your fingertips.
The Nassau Floors on Dalswell Street. We've been the keepers of your most beautiful messages since 1952. As Nassau's oldest florist, we don't just sell flowers, we craft the moments that words alone can't reach. This Valentine's Day, don't just send a bouquet, send a legacy of love. From the first I love you to a lifetime of I still do. We deliver your heart right on time. The Nassau Floors on Dalswell Street. Experience the tradition, celebrate the love. Order early for Valentine's Day. The Nassau Floors open weekdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturdays 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Call 242-302-6121. That's 242-302-6121.
My name is Jonathan Ellis. I've been a pilot at Westner for 2.5 years, and I'm really passionate about aviation, and I love that Westner's given me an opportunity to pursue my passion by allowing me to fly the aircraft. What I love most about serving our customers are we fly families, we fly children, and we fly elders. Sometimes it's for holidays, sometimes it's family visits, business.
So I am Grand Bahamian, so I like to patronize Western Air because it is a Grand Bahamian airline, as well as they're always on time and I don't ever have to worry about arriving 2-3 hours later.
We show love and appreciation to our passengers by getting them to their destination safely and on time. Makes us feel good.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash. And you know how Superwash always have the latest and greatest model of washer and dryer? Well, they thought it's about time they get the latest supermodel as well.
Hey, wait a minute, Mr. Charlie Banana. Just because Superwash always changing and upgrading their machines, I mean they gotta change those spokes, but they got the newest washer and dryer, and they always upgrading all their locations. And these 2 models, they ain't got to change. Superwash, they wash you, cleans you, process you 24/7.
Are you self-employed or have a small business that's looking for a faster, easier way to submit your C10 statements and pay NIB contributions? Sign up for the NIB C10 Easy Submit and Pay mobile app today. It's quick, secure, and
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you all tuned in this evening. Pull up a chair because we're about to get quite interesting. So, of course, Dionisio has left the building. So now everybody come out with, let's just see what they think, right? But of course, it's always a pleasure having him here. He is such a great interview. Well, welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. We're going to jump right in with hot topics because we still have temperature check ahead of us this evening. And so I'm going to bring in my panelists. Of course, Peggy Candace is here with me. We have Gabrielle McKenzie-Enius and Howard Johnson joining me via Zoom. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Good evening. Hi, guys. Miss Gabby.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas, all the way from MSC.
You're on the cruise ship now?
Yeah.
Oh, super. And there's not a delay, so that's good. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy. Good to have you here, Gabrielle. Thanks for taking this let's say, 30 minutes of your vacation to spend with us. Good evening, Howard.
Hi,
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, colleagues. Good evening, Bahamas. And Shanique, just a quick shout out to my good friend, Miss Cedar Knowles. She is a longtime watcher of this show, and she is over there at Linden Pinland International Airport working in protocol. So Cedar Knowles, a special hello to you from all of us.
Hello, Cedar Knowles. Hello to you there at LPIA. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, to everyone watching wherever you are, in the Bahamas, outside the Bahamas, in Grand Bahama. That's Bahamas, right? But I just want to single them out because they love watching the show. Yes. Everyone who's watching, it's so good to have you all tuned in. We're going to have a lot of fun, of course, in this political season. You saw at the top of tonight's show, Dionisio de Aguila, one of the leadership in the Free National Movement, leading the call today. We saw former Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest as well, and then the leader in tonight's newscast. But you saw Dionisio this evening, right here, leading the charge this evening for the former Prime Minister, Kalani Member of Parliament, now independent candidate, Dr. Hubert Minnis, to leave that alone, man. Come on, man. Be the statesman, he says. Be the statesman the FNM needs and bow out of this race. Your thoughts?
I think, good evening, good night, Bahamas. Dr. Minnis is a statesman. Whether you acknowledge it or not, he's already a senior statesman by reason of time served in politics and his age. The English says 73. I think the FNM is showing how bothered they are because they know that with the number of candidates in Kalani and 2 FNMs running in Kalani, those very important FNM votes shall be split. And the outcome more than likely will be a win for the Progressive Liberal Party. I think that is their greater concern because if they were paying attention, everything Dr. Minnis was doing via social media suggests and point to that he would be running as an independent. He said that he would be on the ticket for Kalani. He wasn't hiding anything. Yeah. He wasn't pretending. And so today, after announcement, you all bought it? Why didn't you reach out before? And this shows just how interested the members and leadership of the Free National Movement is in people who are just not pleased with what is going on or about to leave. They don't value these persons who have served the party for many years.
Gabriella.
Well, you all, there's only so much reaching out you can do. I think Dr. Minnis's announcement isn't still quite solidified yet until he officially nominates as the candidate. There's still time for him to change his mind. But I do think he is definitely showing do as I say and not as I do. Because similarly to Dionisio de Aguila, Dr. Minnis gave me some advice when I didn't win a particular race that I was running for. And he said, well, Gabby, throw your support behind that leader now at the time. So I think this is time for him to take his own advice. Throw your support behind the party that you served as leader. Go out in the best way possible. Take on that most senior role that they have to offer. Preserve your legacy.
Why are you trying to act like Dr. Minnis 95?
There's still a chance that he
that's
could
the party
lose
line.
And he is gone, Shanique. He has been there so long. Come on, man. You have that winning streak. It's like how the Pats just lost the Super Bowl just now. Like, come on, you don't want to end your
Dr.
career
Minnis wants
that way,
socket to y'all.
Well, Shanique, here's what's a part of Bahamian culture, right? We always want to tell other people what to do, but we ain't want nobody tell us what to do. And we don't necessarily, and people could tell us what to do, give their view and opine, but they don't necessarily have to take said advice. So here's the thing. We all give our views. We're here on the show giving our views and opining, right? All the time. Everybody that's raging in the battle on social media about whether Dr. Minnis should stay or go, it's all a part of a healthy democracy. At the end of the day, we can give our views, but we can't make that choice.
Yes.
It belongs to Dr. Minnis.
Exactly.
His legacy, how he goes out, all of these things
It's
are the sole choice of Dr. Minnis.
Yeah.
And guess what? Mr. Turnquest was right today. Mr. Diaghilar was right. Brent Simonet was right. Everybody is right when they say Dr. Minnis' time is up. They were right. Dr. Minnis' time is up as an F&M candidate.
Yes.
That's the only thing that's
Yes.
up as. That's the only thing that they can control.
Dr. Minnis will love you tonight for saying that, Howard.
Yes.
Is Dr. Minnis' time is up as an F&M candidate. If Dr. Minnis wanted to start his own party, be a DNA, join the UNC, revive the BDM with Cassius, be a PLP or anything else, that's Dr. Minnis' choice.
Yes.
His time is only up
For the
as
FNM.
a candidate for the Free National Movement, and no one else can make that choice for him as to what he does with his political future.
You know, regardless of what he does, even if he decides to bow out, whatever it is, I just don't want us in this nation to continue pushing the narrative of, oh, he's 73 or this one is 80. Listen, if you are still resonating, if you still have the energy and still have the ideas and a vision to help steer this country in a direction that it needs to go into, let's all come to the table. But this is, and that ain't nothing in the FNM party with me saying that. That's just me as the host saying, let's build our nation together. You know, but listen, I hope you all listen to this. Now, this is real tight. Gabrielle, I want to hear your point of view on this in particular, right? PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell is calling for the FNM's candidate for Mount Moriah, Marvin Dames, to be axed from the party's ticket. He says that it's in relation to the Epstein files that names several Bahamian businessmen. Let's take a listen and then we'll come back and talk about it.
The saga of the Epstein files wants to reach into the Bahamas, and the Tribune reports that an F&M candidate is responsible for what is surely a libelous attack on two Bahamian businessmen. The F&M, in my view, should withdraw that candidate forthwith as not fit and proper.
Now, National Security Minister William Monroe is using the FNM's own vetting process to defend PLP candidate for Fort Charlotte, Sabas Bastian, who also rejected claims of wrongdoing in unsubstantiated FBI reports.
Minister Marvin Dames followed me into this office, and so with regard to vetting of our ambassadors, that is something that someone like me would be concerned with. And so certainly he must have had comfort to not advance any objection to the appointment of Sabas Bastian as an ambassador. If he felt there was anything that disqualified him, he had a duty as the Minister of National Security to come forward with it. Clearly he didn't, because Mr. Bastian was appointed ambassador under his administration. So I like to think the best of people. I would like to think that Minister Marvin Dames carried out his duty as Minister of National Security, which would indicate to me that there is no substance to any sensible complaint against Mr. Sabas Bastian, or else he would have brought it forward. I could always be wrong, and Minister Dames might have been a horrible Minister of National Security who didn't do his job. But I think on something as simple as that, he would have done his job.
Well, you all here, it's obviously some inferences to say, to suggest that perhaps Marvin Dames as minister, or at some point may, in any event, it seems as though maybe Marvin Dames allegedly, reportedly, attracted the heat of those Epstein files to prominent Bahamians like Sabas Bastian and others. Others were mentioned as well in those files. You all, what do you make of that? I didn't see the Tribune's article when it went into depth, obviously. The Tribune reported, as you all heard Mitchell say, the Tribune reported that perhaps that Dames, this I can only say reportedly because I didn't read it, but that Dames perhaps is responsible for the heat being brought here in terms of the Epstein files?
Shanique, when I saw the story, and I didn't read it either, I became automatically suspicious of the timing. And this is even before I knew that Dame's name was connected to the story being brought into play at this particular time. Mr. Sebastian seems to be one of the greatest threats to the Free National Movement, and I believe he is being targeted. This is my personal views when I saw the story. I think it is just too suspicious. And as for Mr. Dames, he has been acting so erratic on his TikToks. I think he's capable of most things at this time because he seems to be so unstable and coming apart during this campaign season. My observations.
But ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to be tepid on the matter. I've not read into it, so I don't like to give opinions on things that I have no real information or knowledge about. But based on the surface and what I saw going forward, I think that during this political season, we're going to see a lot of things surface as we've seen before. We're going to see a lot of people sort of trying to use information. Maybe they've kept these files, maybe on all political fronts. Maybe it's something because people are going to feel threatened by superstar candidates. And there are this political season is filled with some superstar candidates all around. So I don't think this is going to be anything new or anything we've seen the end of. I will, however, do my due diligence, Shanique, and viewers, and go and read that story deeply and hopefully get back to you all with a concise opinion on that.
Yeah, Shanique, I've gone through it and I've read the stories, and I've been reading it from here in the United States with, all of the stuff that's going on with the politicians here who are mostly caught up, and a lot of other prominent people who are caught up in this Epstein files saga, right? But there's one thing I want to say about this whole Epstein files thing. Whether they are Bahamians or prominent PLPs or FNMs, PLP or FNM candidates, the issues of the Epstein files are matters of both reputation and law enforcement. And if anybody, whether they're in politics in the Bahamas or not, is found to be involved in any of the untoward and nasty, disgusting things that Epstein were involved in, then let's have them brought before the courts and let's have their reputations fall to pieces as it should. However, this is, to me, something that we don't need to give too much attention to because it is not an election platform deliverable in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. It is not something that is plaguing the Bahamian people, or that is something that the Bahamas government needs to be taking care of on the behalf of the Bahamian people as an election date gets closer for us. And so, I hate when we pivot and we become distracted by things that really aren't what we need to be focused on today. Mm-hmm. And today, candidates in the PLP and the FNM and the parties themselves in the main need to concern themselves with the things that are going to make the Bahamas better and move the Bahamas further into the future on better standing.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much. I hear an indication that I must take a break, so we will not get to this. I'll tuck this away, this other story, for another night, perhaps tomorrow evening, certainly Friday. But when we come back, you all, we are going to do a sort of a recap on the 6 constituencies and those candidates in those constituencies that we've already looked at on Temperature Check. So don't go anywhere. Temperature Check on Beyond the Headlines is back after the break.
Once something becomes the common behavior, it is the common behavior. When you operate at that level, personal emotions simply cannot float to the top.
For the average normal person that goes to the store, things like that affect us.
They must be judicious in the execution of their duty.
Well, I think whatever the nurses want, give it to them.
Hedges, you know.
Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
On the headlines, it's good to have you all tuned in this evening. We're going to jump right in because we want to get to this segment because next week, by the way, let me know which constituency you want to see us get to in the new year when we officially get back into temperature check. But you will remember last year, the constituencies of Anglerston, South Beach, Carmichael, Golden Gates, Fox Hill, and Mount Moriah were front and center, as well as the candidates, as we totally unbiased, very, very frank, with our perspectives, our thoughts, our opinions, our researched opinions, many times interviews with residents and all, just everybody, without contacting party officials or seeking their input, went in and spoke with just the people who matter most, those who have the biggest voices this time and this season, you, the regular citizen, of your thoughts on whether an incumbent member of parliament, somebody who was vying for the constituency, and so those 6 constituencies we went in. I want to do a recap this evening, you all. When it came to Angliston, what are we saying about the incumbent? What are we saying about Heather McDonald? What are we saying about Faith Presenti of the Coalition of Independents?
Well, we, of course, senior woman, Anna Martin, I understand from hearing from her, this would be her 9th time being ratified as the candidate, and we know that she have a strong history and relationship. And so Miss McDonald have great mountain to climb, but I also see she continue efforts on the road campaigning, so kudos to her. She is very positive in her posting, very optimistic, and so I think she is the future. She just got to stick with it.
Well, I wasn't here when you guys did Angliston, but I've been down in the watering hole a few weeks ago. Angliston is one of my favorite food spots because I grew up in Angliston. And Angliston, from what I understand, is not pulling away from senior woman Glennis Hannah Martin. They love her, they adore her, they respect her greatly. You can't say an ill word or anything in there, or you're going to be like lamb to the slaughter. That is how much she is revered in Angliston. Angliston is simply I think the nexus right there, that right there of all the seats, I think that one is the strongest PLP stronghold with Glennis Hannah Martin.
Yes.
Yeah, Mrs. Hannah Martin is the longest serving female representative in the history of the Bahamas. She's been been an MP since 2002. And so, she has great political bona fides. She's a natural politician, just like her father was, very likable, drawn to people, always willing to help, down to earth. And when you combine that with the demographics of Angliston being a PLP stronghold area, and you combine what she brings and being the PLP candidate and the PLP representative with those demographics, it's a very, very heavy lift and a tough mountain to climb for anybody who is going to run in the parties opposite. And so, but kudos to Heather McDonald. Like my colleagues have said, I know this young lady personally from my time in the Free National Movement. She is a fighter. She is going to get out there. She believes in herself. She's a self-motivator. She's not going to give up. And she doesn't believe that she is going to lose. And that's where it starts. She believes in herself if and when nobody else does. And so kudos to her. Ms. Presenti is doing some stuff. She rolled out a plan several months ago, but it's a big climb to be one Glennis Hannah Martin.
Yes.
Yes. So listen, you all. Obviously, the time is drawing near to wrap up. So I want each of you to speak to the candidate or a candidate of the we've already looked at here on temperature check. They again include South Beach, Carmichael, Golden Gates, Fox Hill, Mount Moriah.
South Beach, I see more activity coming out of South Beach by Senator Darren Enfield and more social media presence from him. He has a growing team, and so that's the improvement. Carmichael, my MP, is on the ground with his team. That's improving. Golden Gates. Golden Gates. Pia is just a junior. She is doing great things. Fox Hill will always be interested with Dr. Fox and Mr. Fred Mitchell. And Mount Moriah got a strange candidate from the FNM who's doing crazy stuff on TikTok that I don't understand, and I doubt he understands.
Jump in, Gabrielle.
Fox Hill still a battleground seat. I mean, toe-to-toe, blow for blow. They still going back and forth. We're loving it. We're enjoying it. It's going to be something to watch until the last ballot is counted.
Yes.
I think every vote is going to count down there. Down in Golden Gates, I think Pia Glover-Roll has definitely set herself aside as the front runner for Golden Gates. She's also revered highly of her constituents down there, doing wonderful work. Very much applauded all of her works going on down there. Down in Mount Moriah, Mikel Barnaby, he is grinding, working hard, making sure that he is able to retain that seat. But Marvin Deans isn't letting up off his heels, so it's going to be a runoff there. And then we have South Beach. Bacchus Roll has actually, and I believe Shanique and panelists that they're watching this show and taking notes, because his social media presence and him putting out things has now increased. So I'm sure Peggy would be able to verify that, seeing that that's a playground. He has definitely, since we reviewed him, picked up on putting out a lot of the activities that he's been doing down there in South Beach. So this is going to be an interesting run as we continue to do these temperature checks.
Yes.
Yeah, Shanique, so Fox Hill is definitely shaping up to be a battleground. I am so glad. I just want to thank Dr. Fox and Fred Mitchell for taking the campaign conversation off of hot dogs and focusing it on more substantive issues. So that's going to be a battleground that's going to come right down to the nitty gritty, I believe. In Mount Moriah, Marvin Dames, you didn't listen to us. Please try to listen. I saw a video from you the other day that was totally crazy and out of left field. Sir, and you're trying to speak to the national conversation when you put out some of these videos. You're talking about the PLP in general as a party. Well, sir, you have a lot on your hands. Your hands are full with Mikel Barnaby. Focus your campaign on Mount Moriah and stop trying to focus on the national conversation. Please, in South Beach, I see that Darren Henfield is trying to pick up the pace in terms of being on the ground. He's getting out there more. I'm seeing that. I'm talking to people who are saying they're seeing him around. The social media is coming up, but Bacchus is out there doing his due as well. And so that's going to shape up to be something. I think Pia Glover still has the edge in Golden Gates, and I still believe that Keith Bell has the edge in Carmichael.
Yes.
Listen, I thank you all so much, guys. I don't know if you all want to call it now. By the way, so we did it. When we said it, we say, hey, are these seats leaning PLP, leaning FNM, leaning COI, or too close to call? We want to just quickly sum up the six and see, and just before we wrap up tonight.
Fox Hill too close to call, the others PLP.
Abby?
Fox Hill, too close to call. That's another one.
Which one do you think?
I think every other I think all of the other ones are actually leading PLP as well. I think Fox Hill is the closest one to call.
Yeah, Fox Hill too close to call. Angliston, I'm going to say, is hard PL in the PLP column. And I believe the rest are leaning PLP at this time, as we are now casting in the present. We are now casting in the present.
Yes.
At this time, the rest of those seats are leaning PLP.
At this time, as it stands right now. Listen, I think you can get a lot more of that in Temperature Check every Wednesday. We may have, like Justin and I were talking, we may have to double up because this is only 6 and there's a remaining, I think, 23 that remains for the total of 41. And so we can have so much fun. So much fun. And by the way, we have,
36.
how many? 36. 36 rather, yes. 36. We have new gear, by the way, y'all. New gear, new Temperature Check gear. Look out for it. Look out for it. That's all I'm saying. Look out for it very soon. But I thank you all so much. At the top of tonight's show, Dionisio Diaguila, thank you very, very much for being here this evening. And of course, this wonderful Hot Topics panel / Temperature Check experts. That's right, these panelists. Thank you so much, Peggy Candace, Gabrielle McKinsey-Eneas, and Howard Johnson. Thanks to you. And a huge thank you to all of you for tuning in this evening. I certainly enjoyed having you along, and I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.
The Verizon Media Group, home of ILTV, Paramount Systems Limited, Eyewitness News, and Beyond the Headlines.
It's time for Quick Draw. Get out your tickets now. We're playing Quick 2, 3, and 4. Good luck!
So batelelo mga mate, yo yo.